That jar of peanut butter sitting in your pantry right now could be secretly destroying your joints. Sounds extreme? Wait until you hear what the cereal you had this morning is doing to your heart. If you're over 60 and dealing with joint pain, brain fog, or stubborn weight that won't budge, the real culprit might not be age at all. It's hiding in plain sight on your kitchen shelves, disguised as everyday staples you've trusted for decades. In today's video, we're exposing 10 common pantry staples that are quietly fueling inflammation in seniors' bodies, accelerating aging, and triggering chronic diseases most doctors never connect to your diet. Stay tuned until the end because we'll reveal what you should be buying instead. Let's get started. Number 10. White flour and refined grains. That loaf of soft white bread, those fluffy pancakes, the convenient pasta you boil in 12 minutes. They look harmless, they taste comforting. But inside your body, they're triggering an inflammatory cascade that damages your cells faster than you can imagine. Here's what happens. Refined grains have been stripped of their fiber, vitamins, and minerals through processing. What remains is pure starch that your body converts to sugar almost instantly. When you eat white bread or regular pasta, your blood sugar spikes hard and fast, forcing your pancreas to flood your system with insulin. This repeated cycle doesn't just raise diabetes risk, it activates inflammatory proteins called cytokines that circulate through your bloodstream, attacking healthy tissue. Laboratory studies confirm that refined grain consumption directly increases C-reactive protein and plasminogen activator inhibitor, two biomarkers doctors use to measure dangerous inflammation levels. For seniors already dealing with arthritis, this makes joint pain significantly worse. The inflammation doesn't stop at your knees. It reaches your brain, contributing to cognitive decline and memory problems. It inflames your cardiovascular system, raising heart disease risk, your immune system weakens, your skin ages faster. Check your pantry right now. White bread, regular pasta, white rice, crackers, biscuits, pancake mix. All of these break down identically in your body, flooding it with glucose and triggering systemic inflammation. The texture might feel light and easy to chew, but the metabolic damage is severe and cumulative. But refined grains aren't the only pantry item hiding inflammatory danger. Number 9. Vegetable oils rich in omega-6. The bottle says vegetable oil, so it must be healthy, right? Wrong. Most vegetable oils sold in supermarkets, including corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, and safflower oil, contain dangerously high levels of omega-6 fatty acids. Your body needs some omega-6, but the ratio matters desperately. The ideal balance is roughly 1:1 omega-6 to omega-3. The average American diet delivers a ratio of 16:1, heavily skewed toward inflammation. Here's the science. Omega-6 linoleic acid gets incorporated into your cell membranes and blood lipoproteins. When these fats oxidize, they create harmful compounds called oxidized linoleic acid metabolites that directly promote atherosclerosis, the hardening and narrowing of arteries. Research published in medical journals shows that omega-6 rich vegetable oils increase cardiovascular mortality, not decrease it, despite decades of marketing claiming the opposite. For seniors, this inflammation translates to increased risk of heart attack, stroke, and chronic inflammatory conditions. These oils are in your salad dressings, your margarine, your mayonnaise, and virtually every packaged snack you buy. They've been chemically processed at high temperatures using solvents, stripping away any nutritional value while concentrating inflammatory compounds. Studies using transgenic mice show that when you reduce omega-6 and increase omega-3, atherosclerotic lesions decrease dramatically. When you cook with these oils at high heat, the oxidation accelerates, creating even more inflammatory byproducts that damage your cells. And if inflammatory oils weren't bad enough, this sweetener does even worse damage. Number 8. High fructose corn syrup. Open your pantry. Check the ingredient labels on your bottled sauces, your flavored yogurt, your granola bars, your canned fruit, even your bread. You'll find high fructose corn syrup hiding everywhere, and it's metabolically different from regular sugar in ways that specifically target inflammation. Unlike glucose, which gets metabolized throughout your body, fructose heads straight to your liver where it triggers de novo lipogenesis. That's the scientific term for your liver converting fructose directly into fat. This process creates hepatic steatosis, fatty liver disease, which causes chronic low-grade inflammation that radiates throughout your entire system. But the damage doesn't stop there. Fructose consumption creates advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, in your intestines. These are toxic compounds formed when fructose reacts with proteins. AGEs promote inflammation in joints, contributing to arthritis in adults and seniors alike. One study found that people who regularly consumed high fructose corn syrup, sweetened soft drinks had significantly higher rates of arthritis, possibly due to these inflammatory AGEs forming in the gut and traveling to joint tissues. Animal research shows that high fructose corn syrup induces greater insulin resistance and adipose tissue inflammation than even high-fat diets. Short-term consumption of HFCS sweetened beverages increases liver fat accumulation and reduces insulin sensitivity within weeks. For seniors trying to manage weight, blood sugar, or inflammation, HFCS sabotages all three goals simultaneously. The cruel irony? Food manufacturers switched from sugar to high fructose corn syrup decades ago because it was cheaper and sweeter. Now it's in everything, from bread to barbecue sauce to breakfast bars, poisoning our food supply one pantry staple at a time. But if HFCS is bad, artificial sweeteners might be even more insidious. Number 7. Artificial sweeteners. You thought you were making a smart choice. 0 calories. No sugar spike. The pink packet, the blue packet, the yellow packet. They all promised guilt-free sweetness. But emerging research reveals artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin trigger inflammation through mechanisms scientists are only beginning to understand. These compounds don't just pass through your system harmlessly, they fundamentally alter your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that regulate your immune system, your metabolism, and your inflammation levels. Studies show that artificial sweeteners cause gut dysbiosis, an imbalance where harmful bacteria overgrow and beneficial bacteria decline. This disruption increases intestinal permeability, commonly called leaky gut, allowing bacterial components and inflammatory molecules to cross into your bloodstream. Research on sucralose specifically shows it increases pro-inflammatory compounds like quinolinic acid, while decreasing anti-inflammatory quinurenic acid. In individuals genetically susceptible to inflammatory bowel disease, artificial sweeteners significantly worsen intestinal inflammation. Animal studies reveal that sucralose administered at FDA-approved maximum doses causes increased bacterial biofilm formation and allows dangerous bacteria like E. coli to invade intestinal cells. For seniors, the cognitive effects are particularly concerning. Emerging evidence suggests artificial sweeteners may impact neural pathways affecting memory and attention. Some compounds trigger inflammatory responses in brain tissue, potentially accelerating age-related cognitive decline. The irony is devastating. You choose diet soda or sugar-free yogurt trying to protect your health, but you're actually feeding chronic inflammation that damages your brain, gut, and immune system. And speaking of deceptive health foods, this next staple might shock you. Number 6. Margarine and trans fats. For decades, margarine marketed itself as the heart-healthy alternative to butter. No cholesterol. Plant-based. Doctor recommended. It was all lies. Margarine and other foods containing partially hydrogenated oils are loaded with trans fats, the most inflammatory dietary fat known to science. Trans fats are created when vegetable oils undergo hydrogenation, a chemical process that solidifies liquid oils to increase shelf life. This molecular restructuring creates fats your body cannot properly metabolize. Trans fats get incorporated into your cell membranes, distorting their structure and impairing cellular communication. In neurons, this disrupts brain function. In blood vessel linings, it promotes atherosclerosis. Research confirms trans fats increase inflammatory markers, including C-reactive protein and fibrinogen, more than any other dietary fat. They simultaneously raise bad LDL cholesterol while lowering good HDL cholesterol, a double attack on cardiovascular health. Studies show trans fat consumption directly increases risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and inflammatory conditions. The World Health Organization has called for complete elimination of industrial trans fats from the global food supply by 2025. Many developed countries have banned them. Yet in India and other nations, trans fat levels up to 2% are still legally permitted in foods. That friendly bottle of pancake syrup, those flaky biscuits, that tub of margarine, They're delivering fats that cause inflammation, neurological damage, and increased mortality. For seniors with compromised immune systems or existing inflammatory conditions, trans fats are particularly toxic. They've been linked to cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. Brain cell membranes incorporating trans fats lose their ability to communicate efficiently, diminishing mental performance with every margarine-topped piece of toast. But trans fats aren't the only pantry staple with a hidden danger lurking inside. Number 5. Canned soups. It's convenient. Just heat and eat. The label shows vegetables and promises home-style flavor. But that innocent-looking can of soup is a sodium bomb that triggers dangerous inflammation, especially in aging bodies. 1 cup of average canned soup contains 700 milligrams of sodium. Sounds moderate until you realize most cans contain 2 servings. Eat the whole can and you've consumed 1,400 to 1,600 milligrams of sodium. That's 70% of your entire recommended daily limit from 1 meal. For seniors with blood pressure concerns, this is catastrophic. Excess sodium causes fluid retention, increasing blood volume and forcing your heart to work harder. This elevated pressure damages blood vessel linings, triggering inflammatory responses. High sodium intake is directly linked to increased levels of inflammatory markers in the bloodstream. For individuals with sodium sensitivity, affecting 33% of people without hypertension, and 60% of those with high blood pressure, even moderate sodium causes significant inflammation. But the sodium isn't the only problem. Many canned soups contain sodium phosphate, an additive used as a preservative and flavor enhancer. Research shows inorganic phosphates added to processed foods alter endocrine function, causing tissue damage and cardiovascular disease development. For elderly consumers using soup as a quick, easy meal, they're unknowingly consuming inflammatory compounds that worsen arthritis, raise blood pressure, and accelerate heart disease. The solution seems simple: just buy low-sodium varieties. But even those often contain 400 to 500 milligrams per serving, and they still have the processed ingredients, preservatives, and artificial additives that promote inflammation. And if canned soup seems bad, this next condiment is even more deceptive. Number 4. Ketchup and commercial sauces. It's just tomatoes, right? Look at the ingredient list. The second ingredient after tomatoes is usually sugar or high fructose corn syrup. 1 tablespoon of commercial ketchup contains 4 grams of sugar. That's 7% of your daily value from a single tablespoon. If you're someone who uses 4 to 5 tablespoons with your meal, you've just consumed 35% or more of your daily sugar limit from ketchup alone. That sugar doesn't just add empty calories. It triggers inflammatory responses throughout your body. Sugar consumption activates inflammatory cytokines, increases oxidative stress, and contributes to insulin resistance. All of these accelerate aging and worsen chronic inflammatory conditions like arthritis. Commercial ketchup also contains high levels of sodium, around 154 milligrams per tablespoon, adding to the inflammatory sodium load. The same problem extends to barbecue sauce, teriyaki sauce, salad dressings, and virtually every commercial condiment in your pantry. Manufacturers add massive amounts of sugar to balance the acidity of tomatoes and create addictive flavor profiles. You think you're adding a little flavor to your food. Actually, you're dosing yourself with inflammatory sugar and sodium that sabotage your health goals. For diabetic seniors or those managing inflammation, these hidden sugars are particularly dangerous. They spike blood glucose without providing any beneficial nutrients, no antioxidants, no vitamins, just inflammatory compounds disguised as harmless condiments. But ketchup isn't the worst condiment culprit on your shelf. Number 3. Instant noodles. Quick, cheap, filling. Instant noodles seem like the perfect pantry staple, especially for seniors on fixed incomes. But these convenient packets are inflammatory disasters packed with MSG, excessive sodium, and refined carbohydrates that wreak havoc on aging bodies. A single serving of instant noodles contains 861 milligrams of sodium. But let's be honest, who eats just 1 serving? Most people consume the entire package, delivering 1,722 milligrams of sodium in 1 sitting. That's 75% of the recommended daily maximum. For seniors, this sodium overload causes immediate fluid retention, blood pressure spikes, and inflammatory responses in blood vessels. Then there's monosodium glutamate, MSG, a flavor enhancer used in virtually all instant noodle products. While the FDA considers MSG generally safe, research shows that high doses cause oxidative stress, inflammation, and damage to brain cells. Studies reveal MSG administration elevates inflammatory markers, increases oxidative stress in neural tissue, and can cause swelling and death of brain cells. For elderly consumers already experiencing cognitive decline, regular MSG exposure potentially accelerates memory problems and neurological damage. The noodles themselves are made from refined wheat flour, stripped of fiber and nutrients, causing rapid blood sugar spikes that trigger insulin release and inflammatory cascades. Studies tracking over 10,000 adults found that eating instant noodles at least twice per week significantly increased the risk of metabolic syndrome, particularly in women. Metabolic syndrome includes inflammation, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. The processing of instant noodles involves deep frying in palm oil or other inflammatory fats, coating each strand with oxidized lipids that promote inflammation. These aren't just empty calories, they're actively inflammatory foods that damage your health with every convenient bowl. And sticking with problematic condiments, here's another one hiding inflammatory oils. Number 2. Store-bought salad dressings. You're trying to eat healthy. You buy a fresh salad. Then you ruin it by pouring on store-bought dressing, loaded with inflammatory refined oils, hidden sugars, and chemical additives. The primary ingredient in most commercial dressings is refined vegetable oil, typically soybean, canola, or sunflower oil. These are exactly the omega-6 rich inflammatory oils we discussed earlier. They're chemically processed at high temperatures using solvents, creating oxidized fats that promote inflammation when consumed. These oils are sometimes partially hydrogenated, creating small amounts of trans fats even in products that claim 0 trans fats per serving through portion size manipulation. Beyond the inflammatory oils, commercial dressings contain shocking amounts of added sugar. Even savory dressings like ranch, Italian, and Caesar contain sugar to balance flavors and create addictive taste profiles. Then come the preservatives, sorbic acid, calcium disodium EDTA, and artificial colors and flavors. These additives extend shelf life but disrupt gut health, deplete minerals, and trigger inflammation in sensitive individuals. Some dressings contain carrageenan, a thickening agent derived from seaweed that's been linked to gastrointestinal inflammation and gut irritation. Others include MSG or its derivatives like hydrolyzed vegetable protein and yeast extract, which trigger inflammatory responses in susceptible people. For seniors trying to eat healthfully by adding more salads to their diet, these dressings completely sabotage that effort. You'd be better off using simple extra virgin olive oil and vinegar or making homemade dressings with quality ingredients. But the number one inflammatory pantry staple might surprise you because it's marketed as healthy. Number 1. Commercial breakfast cereals and granola bars. The box shows whole grains. It claims heart healthy. It promises fiber and vitamins. But flip that box over and read the ingredient list. What you'll find is refined grains, massive amounts of added sugar, and inflammatory oils, all masquerading as a nutritious breakfast. Most commercial cereals are made from refined grains, wheat flour, corn, or rice that's been stripped of fiber and nutrients, then processed at high heat and pressure to create flakes, puffs, or clusters. This processing destroys beneficial compounds and creates high glycemic carbohydrates that spike blood sugar rapidly. Studies confirm that refined grain consumption increases inflammatory protein concentrations in blood plasma, particularly plasminogen activator inhibitor type 1. Then there's the sugar. A typical serving of commercial cereal contains 10 to 15 grams of added sugar, sometimes more. That's 40 to 60% of your recommended daily sugar limit before you've even finished breakfast. This sugar triggers inflammatory responses, promotes insulin resistance, and feeds harmful gut bacteria that disrupt your microbiome. Granola and granola bars are even worse. Marketed as health foods, many brands contain 20 to 28 grams of sugar per serving, more than a candy bar. That cookie dough protein bar you thought was healthy? It's fueling inflammation, oxidative stress, and accelerated aging with every bite. The oils used in these products are typically refined vegetable oils high in omega-6, adding another inflammatory component. The combination of refined grains, excess sugar, and inflammatory oils creates a perfect storm of metabolic dysfunction, particularly harmful for seniors managing chronic conditions. Research tracking thousands of adults shows that replacing refined grains with whole grains significantly reduces inflammatory markers and lowers risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and mortality. Yet most breakfast cereals, even those claiming to be whole grain, contain mostly refined ingredients with minimal whole grain content. For seniors starting their day with commercial cereal or grabbing a granola bar as a snack, they're dosing themselves with inflammatory compounds that worsen joint pain, accelerate cognitive decline, and increase disease risk. The convenient packaging and health claims hide the metabolic damage happening inside your body with every serving. There you have it. 10 common pantry staples quietly fueling inflammation in your body, accelerating aging, and triggering chronic diseases. From refined grains to inflammatory oils, from hidden sugars to chemical additives, these everyday items are sabotaging your health in ways most people never realize. The good news? Now that you know what's causing the problem, you can make better choices. Replace white bread with whole grain. Swap vegetable oils for olive oil or avocado oil. Ditch the instant noodles and commercial cereals. Make your own salad dressings and sauces. Your joints, your brain, and your heart will thank you. If you found this information valuable, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our health-saving content. We've got more pantry deep dives coming your way, exposing the hidden dangers in everyday foods and showing you exactly what to buy instead. Thanks for watching, and remember, the power to reduce inflammation and reclaim your health is sitting right there in your pantry choices.